I'm chillin' at the spot, she tell me come over. I'm thinking living room table, I'ma bring the coasters. Shoulder stack with the beef, I'm about to roast her. She was a little choosy, I'm glad I chose her. Hard to focus, too much company, can't keep switching sofas. Roller coasters, I do what I do, it do it at post.
I feel great.
Good morning,
Starving.
Me too.
We're all a little hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving.
That's okay though.
You don't get hangry, do you?
Nah.
Okay, good. Good.
He had to think about it.
No, I was worried.
Nah. I'm not
Still
crazy.
have to think about it.
Yeah, it's
There
a
was
hesitation. There's a hesitation here.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the podcast of Grit and Grace, where we have raw and soulful conversations, but hold the salmonella. I am your host, Madam
Alice.
And my name is Trey. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Proper?
Like he's shaking somebody's hand or something.
He took off the
Hey, how you
glasses
doing?
and everything. He was like, I gotta switch up.
He's trying to show y'all his.
Switch up the look.
He's trying to show y'all his suave.
But I can't see, so I gotta put it back on.
Yeah, it's okay. Be yourself.
It's okay. I got my contacts on, so I could see though.
I didn't put my glasses on. I was like, who needs to see today?
Fix it, Lord. All right.
You must not be blind there. You can just go without the glasses? Nah, I can't. Nah.
I mean, I
Ain't
could
over for me.
too, if I just had to. Sometimes I run off.
I've never
my
seen you wear glasses. Ever. Like, never.
Yeah,
I don't think I see you wear it one time.
I be wearing my glasses.
Me too. Maybe it's because Monday through Friday we be on that grind,
Yeah.
working our black job.
When I'm working my black job in front of them screens.
Yeah, I just be having all
I
my
have to
glasses
protect
on.
my eyes with the blue light vision.
And you said you engineer, right? Because y'all keep saying black job. So what is this in particular?
Oh, you didn't hear about that on the debate?
Yeah, in the presidential debate.
Nah, I didn't really care to listen to it.
I mean, that's
It was
okay
funny.
because it was childish.
It was
anyway.
funny more than anything.
That's why I didn't really
was
want to care to listen to it. Plus, I feel like if we want to see more immediate results, probably need to focus more on the state election more than just like the
That's
big
true.
one.
That's
So
true.
I didn't really pay attention to what they were saying.
Your state
But that
senators
orange
and
man
things.
got up there talking about how we got the black jobs are being stolen by immigrants, and so
And
we
that's not
everybody
true.
trying to figure out what the fuck a black job
Yeah, I'm about to
is.
say, what did he say? He elaborated on that?
No,
No, he just said the black
Okay.
job.
they're stealing black jobs.
He did say a couple, like construction and carpentry and whatnot, but they're not stealing it because statistically wise, as of the census of like 2023,
Okay.
we hold the most of those jobs. The
So, blue
immigrants,
collar?
aka the Hispanics,
Okay.
only hold like 30% of it, and we hold the rest of it.
So you said construction and carpentry; those are blue collar. So they talk about blue collar jobs.
Essentially, yes.
Essentially, but he called them
Okay.
black jobs.
He called them black
Okay.
jobs, and he called us the blacks,
But that's
as if it's our last name, the blacks.
Okay, that's a little.
And you see, on the Juneteenth episode, I was calling them the whites. Because if he could say that we're blacks, he's white. Well, actually, he's
not
orange.
really, yeah.
Orange.
Since he's talking about colors, I guess. Yeah. But anyway, this is not a political podcast, so we're not going to even go there now because it's going to raise my pressure. So yes, so let's get into this duality of the sexes.
Actually,
That remind me of that Jay-Z song, Mars versus Venus, or Venus versus Mars, or something.
why I said I guess I could clarify what I mean by duality. I mean like the duality of like man, so like of a man in particular, or of a woman in particular, as in every man or woman I feel like have a like the two wolves thing. It's like you have a good wolf and a bad wolf, whichever one comes out is the one you feed, kind of thing.
Right.
So I was thinking while I was thinking of the topic, I was like, there's a lot of famous people that have done a lot of great things. That's a great talent, but they also do things that are bad. And I guess
Similar to how we was talking about earlier.
kind of sort of. That's why I said that was like that topic wasn't a preface, but when you asked that question, I was like, okay, it's more like a preface to this. So I was talking about how do you guys feel about, pretty much I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on that. For example, let's just say you might not like this one, but let's just say R. Kelly. Amazing talent. He's amazing talent. He can sing. He's
That
amazing
12
talent.
play was a mother.
Amazing talent, and he's worked hard and done some. He's made some great music. However, there's a whole nother side of R. Kelly that, of course, that was exposed to us, probably in our face the whole time. We probably just chose not to really look into it. But no side is fooling him. Like, he's not just a singer. He's not just the abuser. Like, the abuser doesn't encompass him as a full person, and the singer doesn't encompass him as a full person. It's like
Right.
both of these conflicting things, one great, one terrible, makes up the man, pretty much. That's why I want to talk about.
Okay.
How did y'all feel about that? He's not the only example. There's a
Are you talking about the difference in like the energy or the difference in good between evil as it presents in masculine form, or
just the inner conflict of any person
Okay.
that has, because I'm sure, just the inner conflict of any person that have these kind of things. It don't have to be that extreme. It could just be different views, because I could be wrong and I can't quite remember. I was hoping you guys would like me, but I believe even W.B. Du Bois, he did a lot for us in the NAACP. He did a lot of great things, but I feel like there are some views he had that was kind of conflicting or kind of rubbed people the wrong way of his own personal view. That don't make him a bad man. It don't make him a great man. It's just both of those views and conflict makes the man in general, or makes him the person he is in general. If I express that correctly. So we all understand.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how.
I feel like I understand that right. I didn't explain that right.
I get what you're saying.
So, okay, I have a great
No,
example.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it.
It's like, you're into astrology, right?
Right.
Yes, very clearly. So, I'm not into it, but I'm always told by loved ones that I'm a Gemini, and that Geminis is like two people. But I tell
The
them,
duality.
yeah, they say like I'm like two people. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they tell me what Gemini does. I'm like, that could go for anybody. So that's why I always just disregard it. But that's what I mean. It's like, I guess you could say it's two people, because you wouldn't say this man is the same man that could do this, or you wouldn't feel that way.
Gemini. First of all, if we're gonna talk about two people, that ain't so much of. I mean, I guess you can. Gemini are the twins, but then you could look at Cancer. Pisces. Pisces are two fish. Gemini is the sister sign or the opposite sign of Sagittarius. So they're technically the same sign, but one is internal, one is external. So what you gonna say about Sagittarius? See, that's why I get irritated
too
with
much.
people about, because she's a Sag.
not the eye roll?
So I mean, I'm an honorary Sag, but definitely a Scorpio forever. Anyway,
Okay.
those can be characteristics of you, but it doesn't mean that's exactly who you are through and through. Answering your question from like the beginning, right?
I think that is who you is, like who you are.
It can make up some parts of you, but it's not entirely you, is it?
I guess it depends who you ask. What do you think about R. Kelly? Who do you think he really is?
I think R. Kelly is a very he's a very
He's just an example. We can
intelligent.
say anybody else. It's not just him. He's just an example.
Okay, so
There's a lot of great figures that have shown good and bad.
definitely, generally speaking, right? And this goes into this book that I'm gonna tell you about in a little bit.
Okay.
A lot of most people, most of us, all of us, really, what we show to the world is really the makings of what we come up in. So, for instance, like with R. Kelly is he's a very smart man. He's a very talented man. You can't take that away from him. He's a very talented man. However, I do believe and I feel, and this ain't no excuse. I ain't making no excuse for nobody up here. Not even me. But I do, and I can see that he is a very broken man. Not even to really say he's a man. He's a man by numerical age-wise, yes. But mentally, emotionally, he's still a child. Not even an adolescent. He's still like a baby. He's a very broken man. For sure.
I think he showed some very clear signs of that when everything started to come to light.
Absolutely. But all of us do. Until you start to acknowledge and realize that that's what's happening, that's what it is, and you do something about it, like, I don't know, heal or go to therapy or, make some different choices, understand what happened back then so you won't continue to do the same thing, so on and so forth. I think that, most people, who we are today is built off of our traumas and our wounds of our past and our childhoods, and some from our generation.
Okay.
Our previous generations. Because we do know that generational traumas and wounds can be passed through the DNA.
Right. So do you think that for people, I feel like everybody has some kind of inner conflict, turmoil that they're trying to work out. Do you think?
Well, they ain't all trying to work it out. But
I'll say that. Yeah. But there's inner conflict, inner turmoil. So would it be, I want to say fair, but what do we lean towards when it comes to,
like, which side?
What are we saying? Are we saying that the evil part of the man is who the man really is, and the good is masking it, or is the good part of the man what really is, but it's masked by evil? Like, what do we?
For me, I could, like, because the people that you were highlighting, like, they've all done really great things and they've all done really shitty things.
Really terrible things.
So you cannot sum up someone's character by looking at the worst of the things that they've done and the best of the things that they've done. Because the truth is, we don't know what things fall on the spectrum in between.
Those gaps.
In between those gaps. So it's easy for an outsider to look at someone who's done terrible things and also done great things, and also, but, negative is what feeds things. So it's to be like, oh, bad person.
Right.
But that's only what we can see. That's only what we know. We don't know all of the good things that they've done. But I'm not making excuses for anybody. But I'm just saying, thinking back from your original question, like, which one do we believe? Which one do we feed? Type of thing. We can't just look at all the good and we can't just look at all the bad. The truth is, he's probably somewhere in the middle of his worst acts. There could be things that he's done that haven't made it to the news. And he could have been also like a super charitable person, but they don't necessarily negate each other. But I think anything that someone does that's rooted in their purpose is what they should be doing. But a lot of people don't know what their purpose is, so they start doing bullshit. Just looking for stuff.
Right.
But anything like he's a very talented musician. He's put out great music, Grammy after Grammy, music that people will still be jamming to probably 100 years from now.
Yeah.
If possible.
Happy people.
Step in the name of love, happy, all of that, right? But that's probably what he should have been doing, just sticking to the music, because that's what he's great at. That's how he's touched so many hearts, minds, people, whatever. The other stuff that he was doing, that didn't feed into anything positive. But we don't know. We can't say
it didn't feed into anything positive, but it fed into the little boy in him that was hurting. That's what it did. And that's what I mean when I was talking about those wounds and those traumas and things like that. It's like an addict, Okay. Most addicts know that, hey, this drug is killing me. They ain't dumb. But a lot of addicts are really smart. They're not dumb. They know, like, I really shouldn't be doing this, but I'm going to do it because of whatever, woo-woo-woo. it wasn't anything for him, like it didn't feed into anything positive, but it fed that little boy in him that didn't know how to read, that was made fun of, that was bullied, that was molested, and so on and so forth. And he just turned right around and did the same thing to somebody else's child. As I spoke about before, hurt people gonna hurt people, especially when you don't know what to do with it. Granted, yes, he could have poured a lot more of it into his music, which he did pour a lot of it into his music. Because like I said, the man is phonically intelligent. He is a musical genius. He might have not been able to read, but he know how to put some words together, put some beats together, and make it a hit for generations and generations, like she said. Yeah. But even at his age now, I think R. Kelly is like in his late 40s now or something.
He's in his 50s for sure.
He in his 50s?
Yeah.
Mid 50s, huh?
Yeah.
He still have those things that he got to deal with. And he got kids. And when you don't heal what you need to heal, you pass it on to your children, and then they become the burdens of your own pain and sins. And then they create their own. And then the cycle just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. But I think in society, most of the time, people or society is looking for a reason to, as you said before, cancel somebody.
Okay.
They look for the worst in somebody before they look for the good in somebody. And it doesn't help that the media is kind of structured on controlling the mass emotion. So they're going to give you, majority of the time, right? They're going to give you the negative rather than the positive.
That's what was to Michael Jackson.
And right. Michael, again, genius. World love from everywhere. All over the world, even people that don't even have phones and stuff, they know who MJ is.
They know who the king of pop is.
They know who MJ is. A mass producer, a mass influencer. And when he died, I remember being in class, and it was like the whole school shut down when he died. Every news station was all talking about Michael, and it was like this projection of this is the worst day of our lives, and so on and so forth, and da 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 da. When Queen Elizabeth died, same thing. And that's why when we talked about social media, I'm like, I don't know if it's so much of a good thing, because it really does control the masses. When you really sit back and think about it, the strongest and the most powerful thing that controls the masses is media. When you turn on the news today, yesterday, tomorrow, tonight, whatever, and you really take a list of what was said positive and what was said negative, majority of it is going to be not good stuff. Somebody shot this person died, this person committing fraud, this person then took this from that, the immigrants then did this and that. This is like, it's never nothing like actually celebrating somebody. And if it is, it's a super small segment. It's so small you really can't even consider it a segment in the news. But they give all this airtime to all of the negative stuff. So it's like, as a society, every day we looking at this, we're now trained to look and view people the same way. Even if it's just a random man on the street that might be homeless. Oh, he homeless just because he lazy. He don't want to get off you don't know that. His house could have caught fire. His wife could have died in a fire. His kids could have died in a fire or whatever. He could have got laid off from his job the next day as well. He probably was looking for a job, but all his clothes had got burned up. Nobody would lend him no clothes, or he can go to another interview. Like, you don't know, like she said, what happened in that gap for this person to get where they at, whether it's good or bad.
More so with that point, I was going, nobody should be summed up to the best parts of their life or the best
worst.
or the worst. Like, I wouldn't want somebody to judge me based off of all the terrible things or mistakes that I've made, nor would I want someone to judge me based off all the good things I made, because neither of those paint the most accurate picture.
Yeah. I understand that.
It doesn't. And that homeless man could give you some of the most valuable Take that one spot.
He was looking hard.
Right.
I don't know.
Can give you the most valuable, artifact that you've ever had that you could probably never get from a CEO of Chase or the CEO of whatever big company. And that's why they say don't look down on a janitor. Treat the janitor the same way that you treat the manager. Treat the manager the same way you treat the CFO and the CEO and COO and all of them. Because at the beginning and the end of the day, that's all just a man. And nobody is greater or lesser than the next or the last person. And you never know what you can gain or learn or give to either of those in between. So I don't think we should judge based on the good or the bad. We need all of it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We need all of it.
I had to ask because that's something I really I like that topic a lot. It's something I like to delve deep into because you just see it so often, and it's personal for me too. I remember how upset I was when Jonathan Majors, how that turned out, that made me really upset.
Same.
I was disappointed. I was definitely disappointed because I'm like, wow.
But at the same time, because I played the middle, I didn't want to be, although I rooted for him as a successful black actor that I feel like can really act very, very well. I didn't want to be biased and everything when you look at it. Although I feel like he's innocent, there are some things that may show signs that he might be a little, I guess as they say, they would say controlling, or he could be a little, what's the word I'm trying to use?
Not so well put together as they portrayed him to be in other actors.
I think I can't find it. Yes, manipulative.
Yeah.
I think they were saying he could be a little manipulative as well. I guess you could say that he's not as perfect, or it's not just all good. It's some things that could be bad, but it's like that's just every person.
That goes for it. Yeah, that goes for every person.
Right. I
agree because you just never know what somebody got on them, what somebody is dealing with, what somebody is caring or not caring or whatever. You don't know what you could be talking to some guy. He seemed like the best guy in the world. You just met him down here in the financial district or whatever, and he could have just killed 13 women, and you would never know.
Right.
You literally just never know, and I guess that's why they say you can't judge a book by its cover.
I was really upset about the Jonathan Majors thing too, but from a different angle. Like, if you don't know for sure, don't cancel this man's money. He got dropped from Marvel like it wasn't nothing, and like basically
like they was waiting to drop him.
I was following along with it, and it's just like, okay, especially with all the media around black men being accused of things, some things true, some things not true. If you're gonna cancel somebody's money, if you're gonna do anything that affects their livelihood, be fucking sure. Like if those things were true, like that would have been one of those things. Those are consequences of your actions. What bothers me is the ambiguity of the situation.
Yeah,
like this man was on a trajectory. Like every Jonathan Majors this, Jonathan Majors that.
They was dragging this man. I mean, really dragging that man.
Talented, handsome, from our eyes, somebody we're looking up to because he's taking these roles, he's doing the thing, like the black community was proud of him, and then for him to just fall from grace to shit like that over something that had a lot of ambiguity around it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially the media, rather, because the whole story wasn't publicly out. So essentially the media took that video from the street camera and they ran with it. And that really made the rest that really made the rest of the world
so terrible.
Right? That really made the rest of the world like, oh yeah, he's a terrible man, da da da. And it's like, but we really don't know what happened. It in the video it could look like he chasing this woman, but in reality, or vice versa, in reality, he running for his life. Like, you know what I'm saying? So this why you can't be so quick to just wash somebody off or wash somebody away like that when you don't know. Gather the facts first. Then make a deductive decision.
I don't think it's a. I wouldn't say it's like a real crime yet. We'll see like next year because the Will Smith slap happened like a couple years ago, and I just went to see Bad Boys for like last week. So he's back on the big screen pretty much. So and it was saying that he was gonna not do nothing for like a decade. All this stuff was
The Oscars banned him for a decade.
Oh, there's the Oscars. Okay,
Yeah.
So it's like okay, so if that's gonna happen, then it's just pretty much keep the same energy. I feel like Majors too. We should be seeing them soon. Now, if it takes like, if I don't see him within the next couple of years, like on any movie, then it's a real problem. That'd be a real disgrace. That'd be a very big disgrace.
There's a lot I could say about that because there's so much that goes into the Oscars and the media and all of that. But
It hasn't even been 2 years yet. That was at the beginning.
That was like a
That was
year
22.
ago.
That was 22. That was in 22?
It was in 23. I want to say the beginning of 23.
No, that was 22 because I was in school. I was going to school for HVAC, and I'm 2 years in the field now. Yeah, that had to be 22.
Yeah, it do kind of feel like 2 years. So it'll be going on 3 at the end of this year then.
Almost, yes.
Yeah.
Because the Oscars happen in the early part of the year, right? It don't happen.
That's why I thought it was January of 23.
Yeah, I think it was 22.
Yeah, I just feel like if they gonna cancel Will, then they gotta cancel a lot of stuff because you got humiliation rituals and stuff going on these stages and all of that. If we gonna cancel folks, then let's cancel everybody. That's why I said there's so much that I could say about.
But
That's the topic in itself.
nobody's perfect. I'm sure everybody has done things that they would not want the public to know about, which is their right. Everyone has a right to their own privacy, even these people that are in the media and stuff. But I think that's a lot of pressure to constantly be under, knowing that your life is, people are going to be judging you no matter what you do. You could give money to an orphanage.
Like that. And we ain't even celebrities.
Exactly. You give money to an orphanage, they're going, why you didn't give it to the other one? Why you didn't help this country? It's just like, damn, I thought I was doing something good. Not good enough by society's standards.
You know, in this book I was reading, that's called The Judgment Wound.
Let me see it. Go ahead. Let's do the plug.
Tell us about the
Let's do the
book.
plug real
So
quick.
there's this book called The Inner Works of Relationships.
You got to get it from behind the
I'll
mic.
put it on the screen.
Hold on.
I'll put it on the screen. I'll overlay. I normally overlay it anyway.
I kind of want to see it too.
I just hold the book.
I thought she was trying to look at it. And so I haven't finished reading it in its entirety, but I have, as you see, I got a whole bunch of bookmarks on it. I have read majority of it, and I love the fact that they kind of go through the different wounds that you can have in your inner man, right? So there's a judgment wound, there's a rejection wound, there's an abandonment wound, there's an overwhelm wound, and so many others or whatever. And it kind of breaks them down to give you pointers to know if you might have one. And even from those words, it breaks it down further to say, okay, this is what this word would look like in everyday life. Right. And then you could relate it back to yourself. And it has questions in each chapter too that ask you, you know, in your childhood or in your past, have you ever felt like such and such and such? Or have you ever been through one of your parents or your main parental figure telling you X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of how you can decipher, you know, which ones you have and which ones you don't. And I think it's a really good book for people to go through and kind of, if you're willing and you're ready to do the inner work so that you can be the best you that you can be, especially if you call yourself being in a relationship with somebody. I think it's a perfect book to go through individually and with your person so that you can like really better understand where you're at and get honest about why and how you are the way you are today and the support that you might need to either evolve out of that, become better at it, or whatever the case may be.
Guys, got a question. So, do we show for people that have that inner conflict or the struggle, relationship wise, do y'all show empathy towards those people? Do you show empathy
I do.
with someone who has obvious inner conflict that's been communicated, but it's not a linear progression? It's not like they did the right thing every time. They probably did the right thing and then went the opposite way, like one step forward, two steps back. Do y'all show empathy for people who make efforts like that?
Yes, and there's a caveat, not but.
Okay.
Like, yes, and. So,
yes, comma, and.
Okay.
I have a lot of empathy and love for people that are open about their damage and flaws, because in a way they're just putting it all out there. So whether or not
And
I
that's
choose
a form of vulnerability. And
Yeah.
it takes a lot to be vulnerable.
like, if you
Okay.
tell me I'm dealing with this X, Y, Z, blah, 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 I have a certain respect for you, because at least you're allowing me the decision to know whether or not I want to
Deal with you or not.
Yeah.
deal with you. And so, like, I have a lot of empathy for people when they're upfront and honest about that, because I would do that for somebody. So I respect it when I get it.
Okay.
It does not excuse their behavior just because they told you about something or about whatever it is they're going through. It doesn't excuse their behavior. It's just something I think that you have to take note of and be a little sensitive if you're going to love that person. Like,
Okay.
genuinely love them and not be judging them when they have slip ups, fallbacks, whatever it is that they're going through. Have a bad day, decide to do stuff they, outside of the norm. You just have to think, can I still love this person? Will I still love this person on, like, their ugliest days? Or if things hit a catastrophic 10, whatever y'all think 10 looks like, right?
Okay.
Do I still love this person? And them being honest about it, I feel like that should just be the default and not something that gets commended, but it just shows you how much everybody else lies.
Okay, I understand.
So when people tell you the truth, I'm going to love you, but I'm not going to love you to the point where I'm hurting myself. Like, or if you're hurting me because you're having a hard time, I'm not going to allow that. I can still love you from a distance, though.
Right. I understand that.
So, another question. If you, would you be proud if someone compared you to your partner, let's say you're in a relationship with someone or exclusive with somebody, and someone said, okay, essentially you are the reflection of your partner, would you be proud, and they are a reflection of you, would you be proud of their reflection? Would you be ecstatic to say, like, yes, that's me?
I think everybody wants to be there.
I don't care about if you want to be there. Are you? Because if you're not, then it's just some work you got to do.
For sure.
You know?
For sure.
It's some work you got to do before you're probably in, like, a decently healthy position in your situation.
It's kind of hard to answer that question because I'm not really exclusive right now, so I can't really answer that. But I will say, if you were, like what you said, if you were to have that exclusivity, then you will want that person to be a reflection of you. But what you said also is true, because if that person is like, if someone is working past like some things that they're trying to get together and they're letting you know, then you still have the choice to be like, okay, I'm here to pretty much to help you see you through it, or I'm not going to deal with that. Like, I'm not going to deal with the pitfalls of you trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. But if you are with somebody and you choose to be there, then I think it is good to, like, be there. Like, you can't really, like, I don't think you can play the fence. I feel like I guess it depends on what it is. Mm. I guess it depends on what would they be struggling with? Is it,
So I'm
where
glad
does it
you
come from
said
too?
that. So in that case, how do you know when it's time to call it quits?
I think personally, if someone shows that they do not want to get it together, that they're very self-aware of what they're doing, but they show no desire or effort to fix it, I think that should be it. I think if someone is showing, I feel like if you see someone is like actually trying and like really trying to figure it out, but they're falling short, ultimately it's up to you. But me personally, I wouldn't leave if I see somebody's really trying. Like if I see somebody's really trying and is like really struggling with it, they told me that, and you can see how much it hurts them to mess up, and they trying but they keep falling short, I wouldn't leave personally. But that's still up to you. It's still up to you. I personally just wouldn't do it.
Whatever they're going through is valid, but it's also valid to you if you don't want to be a participant to what they're going through.
You wouldn't be wrong for leaving.
If you left.
Right. And you shouldn't be viewed wrong for leaving. You shouldn't be, and you wouldn't be viewed wrong for leaving.
To add on top of that, not only if how their progression goes, what your intent is behind it. Like, do you want to get better? Because I think you should get better, because then you're not, as soon as we're done, you're going to go back to old behavior. So
true.
I need them to be doing it for the right reasons, not for me or because they think that's what I want.
Yeah.
I could see that.
How do you feel about it? I don't think I heard you say anything about it yet.
Well, I'm a big advocate of giving everybody a choice, and so therefore I would need a choice as well.
Okay.
As long as you give me the choice, and I feel like I have the choice to decide on if I want to be here or not, first of all. Secondly, if I have the capacity to deal with whatever it is going on. Because if I don't, then you got to make some different decisions. And that's just, honestly, that's just proper self-care. Because you'll be no good to that person anyway if you don't have the capacity to really be there and support them, you know, in that moment. And that goes back to like that 20.
I'm staring back at him too. I'm like, what's
or that 70-30.
He was making eye contact. He was like,
yeah, I was looking at him too. I'm like,
he was like this weird.
It's funny. I'm sorry, I was listening to what you were saying, but his eyes are so big. I don't know if he was strung out.
That's what I'm trying to.
Possibly.
Yeah, I don't know if he was strung out, but he was just staring in. And I know it's a podcast, so it's like we like actively recording and like somebody look in. It'd be pretty cool. But he was like really like staring. So I was like, staring back. He was like, what's going on? Like, why is he staring so hard?
Probably strung out. But
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I'm not going to write somebody off personally. You know, I've never written anybody off just because they're going through a tough season. Like, I'm very well aware that we go through seasons and they're very real. It doesn't mean that it's a lifetime thing. Now, if I see patterns, I do believe in patterns.
Okay.
If I see patterns of behaviors in multiple seasons, that's a different conversation. At that point, it's like, okay, I don't like this right here. We need to make some adjustments, or I need to make some adjustments and figure out if I'm going to accept it, deal with it, or if peace out, you know. But I think even in that, there's a need for like open and active communication and comprehension. Don't forget the comprehension. People be talking about they communicate, but they don't know how to comprehend nothing. So why are you looking at me like that?
That was funny. I feel like when you say stuff like that, it's like I don't want to say you speak from past experience, but it kind of feels like
I do.
So that's what
I do.
Yeah.
Listen, anything that I say is from experience. I don't just be talking for my health.
Okay.
Because that's just a waste of my energy.
But reading is what?
It's fundamental.
Thank you.
It's fundamental. And so, you know, there has to be active communication and comprehension there from the start, so that y'all can both kind of figure out, okay, where are we at? What do we need right now? What are we going through? What are you going through? Where can I show up? Where can you show up? If we can show up and if we can't, okay, what are our next steps?
Yeah.
You know, what are our next steps in this situation? Do we take a break so that we can individually get ourselves together because we just can't handle, as individuals, we just can't handle showing up in the relationship and trying to show up or fix internal things right now or whatever the case may be? Like, just really being honest. And I think a lot of people, they just don't be honest. Honestly, I think a lot of guys go through this and they put a lot more weight on their backs than they should. And unfortunately, society promotes it as well.
I think it go deeper than that. I think that comes from family, honestly.
Oh, that's what I'm getting into.
Okay.
Right. Don't you worry. Worry not. And that's what I mean when I say society. It's been ingrained in our parents and our parents' parents and their parents and their parents. You know, like, it's been ingrained for generations and generations and generations of what a woman is supposed to be, what a man is supposed to be. And I don't think it was ever really taken into account true essence of health, but just a mundane survival situation.
So you're not really for the traditional kind of way a man should be traditionally or what a woman should be traditionally?
I think that society has portrayed it incorrectly.
Okay.
Traditionally, what the man is supposed to hunt and gather, if you want to take it all the way back.
Okay.
Hunt and gather and bring it back to this house so it can get cooked and we can eat. But then you progress until we have cities and all that. We ain't in caves no more. Okay, you got to pay for this. You got to pay for that. Okay, so moving forward, it's not just hunt and gather, but it's go out there, get this bacon and bring it back. Right?
Right.
But it's more, and that's what I mean, the mundane. See, society has portrayed it on just a mundane level, but to protect and provide is not just mundanely or financially for those that don't understand mundanely. It's more than just provide this house and pay these bills. It's literally protect and provide a safe space for your family.
I agree.
Not just be armed with a AK-47 or nothing like that and have, $1 million in the bank. No, it's more than that. Is this woman and yourself and these children, are they in a safe household where it ain't all this domestic violence, right? Or it ain't daddy drunk every time he get home and he just lay it out on the couch for the rest of the night. Or he goes ballistic every time he get drunk, or mama, whatever the case may be, is looking at all those things.
Yeah.
It's not just bringing home a check, but society has portrayed it so much to where men think, okay, well, I paid the bills, you got a roof over your head, what else you need? And this goes back to the other episode. I don't want to be under no shack now. I don't want to be under 59. But
okay,
figuratively speaking, I'd rather be in a shack than to be in a mansion where I'm not seen, taken care of, provided for, not financially, but emotionally, mentally, spiritually, right? Physically, where I am those things with somebody who ain't a millionaire, right? Because money can be made. Time cannot.
I agree with that. Well, that's just a fact.
I can't get my time back. I can't get the time back that I'm spending with you. So if I'm spending this time with you and it's terrible, you never show up, you're not interested in the conversation, you're not trying to make conversation, you don't even sit at the damn dinner table with us to eat dinner with your family, you're not here for dinner perhaps, it's never a romantic date night, whether it's in the backyard, it ain't like we got to go to Greece or something all the time or whatever. It's the little things, the showing the effort things. But I'm just saying, like, to me, society portrays for a man that essentially you ain't got to put in no effort.
Right.
All you got to do is have a job, have a car, pay these bills, and make sure she got somewhere to live.
Okay.
That's not going to get you nowhere. That's going to get you left.
Well, that's what get you alone, because I can do all this for
That's
myself.
right. And that's the barrier or the divide that is happening now in today's time.
Why be with
that
you?
women are able to do these same things that they had to depend on men to do all those years ago. And that's why when our peers or the younger guys or whatever saying like, oh, it ain't no traditional woman, you're not a traditional man. Because you don't even know what a traditional man is. Because you ain't it. How you want a traditional woman, but you ain't stepping up as a traditional man. You want a woman that's gonna have your babies and water on her feet or whatever, and clean up this house and have you a hot cooked meal and rub your back and a whole 9 yards. But that woman don't even feel safe standing next to you. You're not providing or protecting.
Yeah, they don't even do that, but they want all the other trad husband and benefits.
You know,
I want to lead, but we got to go 50-50.
How you want to, but listen, how you want to lead and you don't even, and this is why on the other episode, and I talked about prefacing, right?
Okay.
I'm watching, when I'm with somebody, you doggone Skippy, I'm watching you like a hawk. Because I'm seeing how you move about yourself. You let people play with you, I know you'll let somebody play with me. You can't lead you, I know you gonna run me right into a ditch. If you can't drive your own car and somebody else got to drive the car for you, you could never drive me. Because I can't. You're not showing me that you can and you do drive yourself. You know what I'm saying? So that's why that whole conversation about, oh, the man is the head, the man need to lead. That's all cute and dandy, but when it's time for y'all or these men out here to step up to the plate, y'all shaking in your boots. And then all of a sudden it's, well, the woman need to help with this and this and that. No. You can't have it every way. Decide on which way you want it to be. 1 minute, the woman got to help and do this, and the woman got to do this, and the woman got to do that, and still get up and go to work, but still be the traditional woman. Then another minute, y'all want the traditional woman, but then don't, like, it's so many disparities in there, and it's inconsistent.
Okay.
And so it just makes me feel like y'all don't know whether y'all going or coming, and there's nothing that you can do with me, for me, with that.
Can I ask y'all a question real quick? Y'all careers, what y'all do, y'all love it, right? Like, y'all, if y'all could pick anything else to do, y'all good with what y'all doing? No?
With what I do right now, I wouldn't want to be in. I could do within the field, yes. This position, no.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is, if because you said about how you was going to work. If you found a guy that you think was right and he didn't want you to work anymore, would you stop? If he was able to,
if he can protect and provide,
okay,
sure.
Okay.
But I would have to feel safe and secure in that. If he's not providing that safety and security, absolutely not.
What if he doesn't provide it initially, but has potential to provide it?
I don't do potential anymore. You need to be potential.
Okay, and so you saying it don't need to be potential, it need to be realized potential, like potential that
it needs to be potential. It meaning it's already happening.
Okay, what about you?
You can't step to me and say, "Baby, I don't want you to work no more. I just want you to stay home and take care of the house and all that, and I'm gonna take care of that." Matter of fact, I went through this with that ex I was telling you about. We actually went through this. Okay. I tried it for a few months. Nope. And I had the same conversation with them. I'm like, you can't tell me that you want to lead and that you want to be the man of the household or whatever.
And you get mad over $1,500 I'm asking you about.
First of all, you can't even pay the bills on time. I don't pay bills late. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is what I mean when I say, if you can't drive your own car, I logically cannot, I cannot trust you to drive me. You know what I'm saying? I will give you the benefit of the doubt that one time. And that's it. That was back then. Now I'm watching how you take care of you. You as an individual man, you know what I'm saying? Do you keep up with your hygiene? Do you keep up with your bills, or your bills are behind? Do you keep up with your credit? Do you keep up with your car? Do your mama gotta always tell you go get your tires changed, or your tires rotated and your oil changed and this and this and that? Do she gotta tell, or do you know that for yourself and you go get it done? You know what I'm saying? Like, I shouldn't, and these are real life examples of that old relationship. Like, I should not have to tell you, hey, it's time to go get your oil change. You ain't had your oil change. You need to go get your oil change. Hey, you need some new tires because I can see the wires and the threads in your tires. Like, I shouldn't have to tell you these things. You should be taking my car saying, oh, let me go ahead and go get this oil. Matter of fact, you should be under there changing it. But I understand we got some pretty boys now and they don't like to get their hands dirty. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But you at least need to go and take it and get it changed. You know what I'm saying? I shouldn't have to ask you, oh, hey, can you go change my oil? You should be asking me, hey, babe, where your keys are? I'm about to go take the car and go get the oil changed and go wash it up and get it fixed. You know, whatever the case may be. Yeah. It shouldn't be the other way around, because at that point, you're not leading me. I'm leading you. And that's fine if that's a dynamic that we have agreed to, because everybody likes a different dynamic. Some people, yes, in their marriage or their relationship, the woman leads and the man does not. That's fine as long as it works. As long as everybody, as I've said before, as long as everybody knows their role and they playing their role, cool. But if don't nobody know their role and everybody trying to do everything, and it's too many booties in the kitchen. You stepping on this toe, they stepping on that toe. You getting mad about this, they getting mad about that. Like, that's unnecessary. I don't care who leading or who doing what. Know your role. So that way you know what you're supposed to be doing. They know what they're supposed to be doing. And what we both doing is cohesive. It don't matter what nobody else say or what nobody else think, because like she said, in today's time, women go to work too. And sometimes your woman might be making more than you. That's cool. You might not be making more than your woman. That's fine. But we both contributing to this household. And at that point, we sit down and we have an adult conversation. Okay, what can you handle? What can I handle? Okay, this in the middle is what we agreed on and what's going to happen. So that way, ain't no gaps and we still cohesive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If your woman making more and you not, that might mean, okay, she pays the mortgage, but you pay all the utilities and the food bill and whatever, on the daycare or whatever, right? So that way it balances out, because logically, if she's making more and he's making significantly less, that means his whole check is going strictly to mortgage and he can't contribute to anything else. Nine times out of 10, that probably doesn't make sense for their situation, which means something is coming up short when it don't have to. You get what I'm saying?
Okay.
So I just use that as an example, like, know your role, know what you can do and know what you can't do. Know what they can do and know what they can't do. Y'all come together, comprehend that, and decide on what we gonna do. So that way it ain't no tussling. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People be tussling and fighting for no reason, and it really just be because don't nobody want to communicate. And if they are communicating, they're not actually comprehending. They're communicating and they're listening just to listen and respond, not to actually understand what the person is saying. Everybody like want to be in this macho thing. You got the women that can't no nigga tell me what to do and da 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 da. I can do my own. You got all of that. Then you got the dudes that's like, you know, you gonna bow down to me, and you ain't got nothing to bow down to. So what are you talking about? Like, it unrealistic thing. I just, it's so stressful. Sorry, I went on a whole tangent.
I was just letting you. I was letting you go.
Y'all
clearly needed to be said.
I mean, because it really irritates me, and I know several people, and I don't say no, I just listen, but it's just like, we don't have to have this divide between men and women. We really don't. But in between us watching and looking what everybody else doing and conjunction with what our parents have instilled in us and what our parents did and what their parents did, and listening to this person and that person and society this and that, and it's too many heads in your relationship, and you wonder why it's so much confusion. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It don't have to be all of that. If we keep trying to keep up with the Joneses, or I stop trying to keep up with Mark Haley and you stop trying to keep up with Joseph, and just be you and me just be me, and we bring that together and figure out, is this cohesive or not, and what we need to do, it'd be a lot less tussling. I don't like to tussle. What we need to tussle for? That's the wrong kind of tussling. Anyway, go on. I need to replenish my.
I believe your question was, would I quit a job if a man told me he wanted me to stay at home?
Yeah, I want to preface this. Financially, a man who's financially capable of doing it, but when you talk about some of the other things, he's not there yet. He has potential there, but it's not realized potential.
You said he doesn't have the other things?
He's financially capable, but as far as the other things that men are supposed to do, he's not there yet. Not saying he won't get there. He shows signs, but it's not realized potential. That's not potential.
He ain't made it to that bus stop yet. Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
In short, I don't know, because like my daddy said, I always need to have my own money.
Facts.
Right.
So and it comes from this. If I could make large sums of money, like as long as I'm contributing and I still have sense of some type of autonomy, because there is such a thing as financial abuse, and we didn't get to talk on that. But when one person is responsible for everything, no matter how good or honest that person is, they have the potential to harm the other person by not giving them what they need. And so I never want to be in a position where I don't have what I need because my partner, my boy, my man, or whatever, my husband is mad at me, right? Because that's the power they have over you. And of course, you don't want to be married to someone like that, but people are very fickle. And the amount of trust that it would take for me and this man, for him to tell me, you can relax, you don't have to work. First of all, I would love that. But realistically, I've never met a man who, for one, is willing to do that, or I can trust enough to say that to me. Because like, you can say all you want. That don't mean I'm going to up and quit my job. My black job. I love my black job. That keeps my bills paid, keeps me fed, keeps a roof over my head, you know? I've never trusted a man enough for them to be like, you don't have to work.
And see, that's a key word right there. Trust.
You have to trust. Like I'm basically putting my well-being in your hand. Into a man's hands. And if you're not going to like do it and do it with a smile, I don't want to be in your hands.
I think even with that, though, if I did quit my job, stop working, and I wasn't doing anything on the side, like my own little business or something, even the money that he would be providing to me, I would still be smart about it and section it off and put it away. Because at any point, he can fall sick, he can get fired, he can get hurt temporarily or whatever, and can't work. So at that point, I got that contingency account or whatever, and say, baby, don't even worry about it. I've been putting money. Every time you get money, I put some money back, so we good. So I'm not being blind about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, I'm trusting you, but I'm also having your back at the same time, because we're human. Anything could happen. Anything could happen. And the smart thing to do, as being your right hand, your left, I'm going to have a backup plan just in case something fall through. So we don't get hit that hard or whatever the case may be.
Right.
You know? And that goes into that cohesiveness. You gotta be cohesive.
We are a little short on time, but this was a great conversation. We will have you back, young man. We like you.
I'll let her come back.
Well, I know she love you because you're family, but you all right with me. You
That's
good
cool,
in my book.
Thank you.
I got one last question.
Okay.
Is it for me in particular?
Both of y'all.
Okay.
When you think back from your past, what wounds do you think affect your relationships today?
Oh, that's very easy. It's just a matter, do I want to put all my business out on the podcast?
Well, we didn't already did that, so.
Not all of it.
Give me 2.
I know I have a thing where I'm a very loving person, so I just like to throw love at people and give it to them because I want them to have it. But I also have to be realistic that I want just as much love thrown back at me. Mm-hmm. And I think for a long time I wasn't being realistic. Like, hey, I'm gonna love you like very fiercely, very hard. I'm gonna love you in a way that you can understand, reciprocate, and the way that you want to be loved. I want that back.
So you have the abandonment wound.
I don't know.
Or rejection wound. Actually, that one goes into both.
It could be a little bit of both because honestly, I'm not scared to be by myself. I thrive by myself. I tend to be disappointed when I'm in relationships because, like, you said you're going to do something. I don't want to have to remind you. I don't want to have to keep telling you, oh, this is not what you said, or I don't want to be in a where I'm not getting my needs and my wants met.
The abandonment wound.
You know, it's just like, okay, if we're not here for each other, that's where I am now because I like to give so much love. When I'm not giving it, when I'm not receiving it back, okay, fine. We don't have to do this.
Trey,
can you repeat the question, please?
When you think back to your past and your childhood or whatever, what wounds from that time do you think affect your relationships now? Your romantic or any type of relationship?
Oh, that's really deep. I think the only thing that can it be a positive effect or it doesn't have to be?
Like that's negatively impacting.
Okay. I guess I probably see some things that I definitely wasn't old enough to see or process. And by me seeing these things has me look at my partner a little bit different. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in a way that could be that could potentially be bad. I guess.
So like seeing cheating when you was little. Just an example, not saying that's what it is.
Nah, not cheating. Nah, it's not cheating.
I'm just saying, like, as an example, something like that, or abuse, or domestic violence, or whatever the case may be. It could be addictions, whatever. But seeing stuff like that from your childhood,
more like
now gives you a lens of kind of like a side eye in your relationships now, if that comes up.
I don't think that's a good question. That's a really good question because I'm really pondering over it right now. I guess I was fairly fortunate. I don't think I've ever really seen nothing relationship wise in front of me that seemed like that if somebody were to, if I was with were to do it, would trigger a certain type of response. At least I don't think so. I would have to probably poke and pry to find something like that. At least I don't think so off the surface. I know that I personally was affected, like I said, by probably seeing something or viewing something that I was supposed to see, and that's a chain reaction to kind of affecting how I could probably negatively affect my partner, but not vice versa.
You're saying like your toxic traits?
I don't know if it would be considered a toxic trait.
We gonna have to pick it up.
We might have to,
do a part 2.
I think so. I'm very much willing to do a part 2.
Okay, all right.
Because I have to elaborate on that to make it understood. I don't know if we got time for that.
I got you.
Do we have time for that?
No.
Okay.
We got about 2 minutes.
Okay.
But
nah, all right, that's fine.
I know, like, especially after reading the book or whatnot, I have a judgment wound. And it talks about, just so y'all kind of get a whatever about it.
You really plugging that book
So
too.
I didn't underline, I didn't wrote in it and all types of stuff. So like the wound of judgment, it says the relationship triggers are perceived mistakes. The root of that is I am wrong or others are wrong. And so the primary emotion would be guilt. The traumas, so like what I was asking, right? Parental judgment, religious judgment, bullying, arbitrary punishment, spanking, scolding, social judgments, critical perfectionist, parenting, sexual guilt or repression. And so it even breaks that down further, and it says unmet inner child needs: freedom to make mistakes, healthy discernment of choices and consequences, letting natural consequences serve as teachers rather than resorting to guilt or blame. So that's what I was asking when you think about your different wounds or whatever. So
Right.
I know that I have a judgment wound, and so that kind of causes you to be somewhat overcritical about yourself and others, sometimes judgmental about yourself or others. It can cause you to be a perfectionist or neurotic, and things like that. So we'll part to it.
You do
Okay,
part
part
two.
two, but
That's
that
all
was
we-
just
Maybe
a
next time,
snippet.
part 2, we need to have had this book read so we can really talk about it.
I might need to pick it up.
Yeah.
I might pick-
Yeah.
Yep. Y'all go ahead and pick that up. Pick it up from the Amazon. And all right, y'all, we appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Thank you.
Nice to
and
meet y'all.
checking us out today. Let us know what you think about your inner child wounds. What else we talked about?
I mean, before this, we were talking about cheating and social media.
Yes.
Duality too.
And your duality, that's what I was trying to get to. Your duality between your inner man. Let us know what you think. Tune in. We want your feedback. And your comments, your thoughts, all the above. Make sure you like and subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me or all of us really on Instagram. I don't know if Trey wants to give his Instagram, but you can follow me on Instagram at Madam Midheaven. You can follow Alice on Instagram as well at they with 2 Y's. Call me Alice. You want to get on your Instagram?
Can you just put it in the description?
Okay, I'll
Something like that.
throw it in the description.
We'll throw it at the bottom.
Yeah, something
Make sure
like
y'all
that.
like and y'all subscribe and y'all following us and following the podcast. We appreciate you as always. Every interaction counts, and we'll see y'all next time.
My food, a thumb in the grocery, girl, let's go outside.